Hello and welcome back to Rooted in the Seasons, where ancient wisdom meets modern life with a strong cup of tea and practical tools for real busy women. I'm Katya Patel, Ayurvedic diet and lifestyle educator, yoga teacher, and teacher mentor. I help women find calm and clarity through small daily rituals, seasonal rhythms, and timeless wisdom that actually fits into your life. This podcast is part of the wider work I do, including a live workshop called When Rest Isn't Enough, where we explore this in a more structured and supported way. If you'd like to go deeper, you're very welcome to join me there. Now, if you're listening to this in April, you're right in the heart of springtime, because today I want to talk about that sense that things are shifting. Maybe you've noticed that what used to work doesn't quite anymore. Or that you expected to feel more energized by now, but instead there's still a bit of heaviness lingering. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. So stay here with me. Over the past few weeks, we've talked quite a bit about that spring heaviness, the slower mornings, the foggy head, the slightly stuck feeling. And this makes total sense given the season you're in. But now something begins to change. We're not just noticing the heaviness anymore, we're ready to let it go. And we do this by creating a bit of space. First, though, I want to share my cleanse experience briefly here. I finished my spring cleanse last week. And what surprised me was that this year it wasn't really about food. It felt more like a mental decluttering, letting go of what had been lingering and creating space, not just in the body, but in the mind as well. And afterwards, I felt clearer. My energy was steadier, digestion felt more settled. And this was a big reminder for me. This isn't about perfection. Things might work out differently from what they usually do. What's important is that we are working with the rhythm and not against it. Now, here's something interesting. We often think change comes from what we eat. But actually, it often starts with what's around us. So these days, we have access to everything all the time. And for some people, this shows up as standing in the kitchen, not quite knowing what to cook, reaching for something quick, and then not feeling fully satisfied afterwards. So this isn't just about food. It's about your environment and how that shapes your choices without you even noticing. From an Ayurvedic perspective, this is where Ritucharya, seasonal rhythm, comes in. Spring is Kapha season. So qualities like heaviness, slowness, and stagnation are naturally more present. In the way we balance that is by introducing the opposite: light, warm, more stimulating, not in a rigid way. Think rhythm, not rules. So here's something I see again and again. It's not that people don't know what's healthy. They do. But it's the rhythm around it that isn't quite there. And once that shifts, things start to feel easier. What does that mean, you might ask? Let's make this really practical. And one of the simplest places to begin shifting that rhythm is your pantry. Because what's in front of you every day quietly shapes what you reach for. This isn't about throwing everything away. Nothing here requires perfection. Start with what's obvious: expired foods and old spices. Things that have just been sitting there for ages. They need to go. Great addition to your compost. And then, instead of removing everything else, just change what's front and center. Move heavier foods to the back and bring lighter seasonal foods forward. This small shift changes your daily choices, and often that's enough to begin feeling different again. And this brings us to what's supporting you now. Think simple. Warming spices, fresh herbs, light vegetables, easy to digest grains and legumes. So in practical terms, this might look like using spices like black pepper, dried ginger or fresh ginger, mustard seeds, adding fresh herbs like parsley, mint or coriander, and then choosing vegetables that feel a little lighter. Things like asparagus, radish, leafy greens. For grains and legumes, you might lean towards something like barley or simple mung dal. Nothing complicated. Just food that feels a little lighter and easier to digest and more in tune with this season. Maybe you've noticed your body responding to this already. That food feels a little lighter, a little easier. And in terms of meals, this could be as simple as a light soup, a simple dal, a quick vegetable stir fry. Meals that feel nourishing without feeling heavy. And if you like a bit more structure around this, including what's actually in season right now, a simple spice mix, and a few recipe ideas. I've put all of that into the blog post, so you can dip into it when you need. You find the link to the blog post in the show notes. If you want to take it one step further, you might try sprouting lentils. It's a simple way to make food lighter and easier to digest. But again, supportive and not demanding. And once your pantry reflects that shift, something else happens. Cooking becomes easier. You don't need to think as much. You naturally lean towards meals that feel simple, warm, nourishing without being heavy. Before we go further, there's something important to say. If your pantry feels a bit cluttered, there's a good chance your mind has felt similar too. And in Ayurveda, those two are never separate. So alongside lightening your food, we can also gently support the mind. And this is where a few simple breathing practices can help. This could be deep belly breathing or a cleansing breath of Kapha. Even just 5 minutes can make a real difference. Let's bring this back to the essentials. Spring might have started with heaviness, but now we're moving into a phase of letting go. And this doesn't need to be complicated. If you remember nothing else, clear out what's not longer useful. Shift what's visible. Bring in lighter, seasonal foods. And allow your body to respond. Small, steady changes matter. So if you're thinking, this sounds great, but I struggle to stay consistent, you are not alone here. This is exactly what I support inside my workshop when rest isn't enough. It's a space to practice this together, to build rhythms in a way that actually fit your life. So you don't have to figure it out on your own. So, at its core, this is about creating space and letting things feel a little easier again. You don't need to do all of this. One small step is enough. Sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about creating enough space for things to settle again. Thank you so much for listening to Rooted in the Seasons. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe or follow Rooted in the Seasons on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That way, new episodes land automatically for you. And if you like more support between episodes, you can download my free guide, my 5 quick Ayurvedic fixes from scattered to steady, and join my Sunday Read newsletter. You'll find all the links in the show notes. And if something in today's episode resonated, I genuinely love to hear from you. You can connect with me on Substack, or even better, drop me an email. I always read and answer them. So until next time, stay rooted in the seasons. Bye-bye.